Hi, I'm Jacqui from the Craft Arty, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a simple knit stitch. I've got my needles here. I've got 12mm wooden needles, and this is our Yum Yum yarn, which is a super chunky yarn. And what's fabulous about this is A, it's super soft, it's British spun and dyed, and secondly, it's super chunky, which means it's very quick and easy to knit up. It's great for demonstrations as well, so I can show you and it's easy to see. So I've cast on my stitches. Here I've used the long tail cast on method, which is why the tail end of the yarn is at the end of the needle. If you use other methods, the tail end would be at this end of the needle. So this is perfect for things that need an elasticated edge. So something like a hat. I'm actually going to make a scarf with this. So you take your second needle, and that's in your right hand, and the needle with the stitches on is always worked from the left hand. You're holding the needle in your left hand, and you take your right needle and pass it in from the front through to the back. There you go. So it's underneath the needle as you're looking down on it. I will take my yarn end, make sure it is the yarn end and not the tail end. I've done that before and then had to undo it. And just wrap it anti-clockwise around the back needle and then pass it through using the tip like this and knock that stitch off. You've created your first knit stitch. Now this first one is a little bit loose and quite often is, so you just tug it slightly at the yarn end and you can see it's just got a nice tension, not too tight but enough so it's not super loose. And then you're ready to knit your second stitch. Put the needle in again from front to back underneath that needle. Take your yarn end. I do get a little bit tangled sometimes, especially when you're trying to video at the same time. Wrap it anti-clockwise and pop it through. I'll just push that in so it can get off without the... You see that's a nice tension on that one. Oops. And just carry on in this way. I'm going to push these stitches up a little bit. I spread them out so that I could show you, because it's easier if they're towards the end. From the front to the back, anti-clockwise, pop it through and knock it off. Front to back, anti-clockwise, pop it through and knock it off. Oops. As you go along, you can just gently push your stitches towards the end so that you're not stretching between your work. You can see how big and easy this is. You can whip through a row. This is the row enough for a scarf. How you hold this, there's arts to it, and I think if you've got a finer wool it matters more, but with this super chunky it's so forgiving. You can see I've literally just got it wrapped round my finger like that, just to keep it so you've got a tension but not too tight, not too loose, just relaxed. It's a lovely rhythm, which is why it's a perfect meditative mindful craft. There you go, you've just knitted a row. Well, I have, but let's pretend it's you. Now what I'm going to show you here is what the stitch looks like. So this is what would be the right side because I've just knitted it. So this is the right side because I've just knitted it, and you can see that every stitch has got a little V round it, and that's the knit stitch at the front here. I like to think of it like a little scarf on the knitting. And on the back of a knit stitch is a little bump, and that I'd like to think is almost like I suppose it's the back of a scarf. It could be a noose. When you've finished your work and you finish that row, then you're ready to turn your work. So what you do is literally turn your needle over, pass it to your left hand, and you have the empty needle in your right hand, and you're ready to work the next row because you finished row 1. Now, if you knit every single row, then it becomes garter stitch. So it has these little bumps on both sides, the little waves. If you then knit this row, it's so easy. If you then purl this row, then it becomes stocking stitch. So it all looks like V's on one side. On the sleeve I've got here, this is all knit rows, and you can see it's super soft and bumpy, and this has been the alternate knit and purl row, so it creates like a stocking stitch, and this is alternate knit and purl stitches, which creates a rib. So that's how you knit and create a knit stitch. Thank you for watching, and I'm Jacqui from the Crafterati, and you can visit our store online at crafterati.com. There's also our craft school on YouTube, which you can subscribe to. There's also a craft school online at crafterati.com, which has some written tutorials as well as various videos and how-tos. We have kits and everything you need to create and enjoy your crafts. Thank you for watching.